Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard emerges with people from all walks of life who, through their own unique angle, succeed and flourish. Enjoy the ride and welcome to Unique Ways, an audio podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard, an audio podcast. Got a really great guest on today. She has a BFA from Emily Carr University in 2006, after which she went on to study design and illustration at the IDEA program at Capilano University. Currently, she's a creative director at Rethink, working with clients such as A&W, SmartSweets and YWCA. Her work has been recognized by the One Show, Clio Awards, Communication Arts, the Advertising and Design Club of Canada, Applied Arts, Marketing Art Awards, and the National Magazine Awards. Please join me in welcoming Pamela Rounis. Welcome.
Hello, pleasure to be here.
Are you ready for 20 questions?
Sure, shoot.
Question one, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm a creative director at Rethink by way of design and art direction. So I work with clients and other teams at Rethink to um, do branding or advertising or commercials or literally anything they ask me to do, I will do.
Nice. And just a note for our audience, if you're interested in other Canadian episodes, be sure to check out the episode with Marion Banshees. She's a really great Canadian designer. Question two, what's a key piece of knowledge that makes you different?
Well, you, so you start out your career and, you think you know everything, but in reality, you know very little. And now at this stage in my career, I actually feel like I do know a lot, um, but I actually know very little. It's fascinating that the more you know, the less you feel you know.
Hmm.
So you really realize that there are many different creative solutions out there as you get older, or more experienced, and there's lots of different ways to look at a problem, and that really opens you up to a lot of possibilities.
Nice. So three, why this of all things? Why do you do what you do?
I like the challenge. I like that understanding people is a huge part of any communication and everything we do. I like turning the strategy into something tangible and clear and hopefully a little clever.
Great. And some people struggle with number four, but the question is, what does your future look like?
Well, immediately it looks like me carving pumpkins with my children this evening, but long term, I hope to still be making great work. I want every year to feel like my best year creatively. I want to constantly improve until, they put me out to pasture. So just on a constant search of, the perfect creative year.
Nice. And five, we say is unique to this show. The question is, let's talk about location. How does the notion of place play into what you do?
Well, place is really interesting. I feel like it's no longer a physical location now because of the internet and like the speed of information and how easily it is to talk to anybody anywhere in the world. I think of places more as pockets of interest. So, the places on the internet where people love the new Charlie XCX album or vegans, so. I think place is more of a state of mind these days.
Great. And six, if you had to start from the beginning, what advice would you give your former younger self?
I would say to learn about emotional regulation. Um, so much of being, senior in your job involves dealing with lots of different types of people, clients, um, other people you work with, and just learning about yourself and how to deal with your own emotions just helps you tenfold. And along with that, probably don't take on too much.
Nice. And what's a day in your life like?
So typically, I wake up, I get my kids dressed and fed, take them to daycare, and I come home and I start my work day. Usually seeing if there are any immediate fires on Slack, and then delving into whatever project I might be working on. Then I'll have maybe a meeting with a team I'm CDing, or maybe a client presentation. So it's basically lots of meetings and fitting the work in between.
Great. And 8 is around lifelong learning. It's a popular topic. How do you stay up to date?
I think I'm just like a naturally curious person. So I'm always striving to be better. So sorry about that. Um, I'm always striving to be better. And, I read a lot. I like to talk to people too about what they know. I think you learn a lot just from being open and talking with other people. So I think I'm an extrovert and I get a lot of information that way.
Great. 9 is tools. Can you talk about your use of digital and analog tools?
Yeah, so I mean, I think like most people, I'm using the Adobe Creative Suite. We are shackled to Adobe. Also using Slack. I've been really liking using Google Tasks board to organize my projects. I like to have like a dashboard where I can see each project and all the files linked there. Um, Definitely still Sketch, but now on an iPad using Procreate. I just find it's tidier and then I can keep all the sketches for one client in one folder, etc. So yeah, that's usually how I work.
Great. And halfway number 10, how do you deal with work life or life work balance?
Well, having kids forces you to make the most out of your workday. So when I'm at work, I am working. Often it's like, oh no, I have to like get up and actually like pee or eat or whatever because I'm just really locked in. And that way I can try to disconnect in the evening. I mean, it's not 100% possible every day, but I do my best and it's not easy.
Great. And if you weren't doing what you do now, what might you be doing?
Well, I think every creative person has other tangential creative hobbies. I've started screenplays, I've done fine art, music. I'd probably like start an Etsy shop or something. If I wasn't in a creative job at all, maybe open a small cafe or something. My dad was a restaurateur and I grew up in the service industry, so seems plausible.
Great. And what would you not like to do with your career?
Probably something solitary or repetitive that isn't creative in an ugly office. Seems like a fate worse than death. So, like an accountant, probably. And like, God bless those people because someone needs to do that work. But I think I'd sooner be like a house cleaner than that. And I'm also not good at math.
Do you have a favorite word, quote, or sentence?
A piece of advice I like to always give creatives is what's in the way is the way. Um, it's just such a wonderful piece of advice of and way of looking at something that you think might be preventing you from making good work and turning it into something that is actually how you make it the best ever.
And how about a least favorite word, quote, or sentence?
I really hate it when people say something slaps. It just like gives me the ick. I hate it.
You're choosing one word to describe yourself. What word is it?
Probably distinct. I value individuality and a personal point of view, and I try to live that way. Try to just be me.
16, what keeps you up at night?
Probably fears of inadequacy, both as a mom and as a creative.
Final stretch here. What's a dream you're chasing?
Happiness.
What inspires you?
Other people doing great work, and it doesn't matter what the field. Like you know it when you see it, when someone's vision has like come to life. It like literally brings tears to my eyes. I don't know why. It's like very weird thing, very weird reaction. But when I see like a really beautiful, perfect creation or work, I just tear up. I don't know. I love watching movies. I wish I had more time for that. I will recommend a Canadian film called I Like Movies by Chandler Levac. It's on Netflix. It's really sweet and funny. Recommend that.
Great. And last couple here. Any advice you'd like to share?
Okay, so I had like prepared up until this question. There's so much advice. It's like, how do we even narrow it down? Um, but for creatives, I'll say that one of the biggest issues people have that I've talked to is imposter syndrome. So I will just leave you with this. You are not your work, and your worth as a human has nothing to do with what you make. It has everything to do with who you are as a person. So
Great. And finally, number 20, how can our listeners keep tabs on you and what's our call to action?
you can follow me on Instagram at Pam Rounis.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You're the second rethinker. Is that a word? Rethinker? Uh,
Oh, who else was there?
um, oh, his name, I can't remember his name. He's EVP, I think. Um, can't remember his name. Uh,
Okay.
I'll have to look that up. Uh,
Amazing.
yeah, no, thank you so much for being on.
My pleasure. Take care.
If you liked today's podcast, I encourage you to have a listen to other episodes. You can easily find them at uniqueways.ca or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on social media. And thank you. It's you that makes these great, and it's you who these are for. Stay tuned for more unique ways.